Hello everyone. Today we have Puneet Agarwal sir from MIET Institute. Sir, firstly tell me about yourself and about college.
We are a group of colleges which are located in NCR, Delhi. We are located on the national highway which travels from Delhi to Dehradun, and we are just located not exactly in between, but we are located more towards Delhi side. We are around 55 kilometers from center of Delhi, and we are a group of higher educational institutions which imparts especially technical and professional education to the students. In our region, we are the premier institute. We have been there for past 23 years. This is our 24th year, and we hope to sustain ourselves in the long run. We cater to around 4,500 students. Our one campus targets 4,500 students. Another campus has around 1,000 students. So this is the thing. I am a part of the management which runs both the colleges. Both the colleges have different professional management, but we are a part of the administration which supervises both the colleges.
Okay, so you have held a key position of your education institute throughout your professional career. What are the key factors that keep you connected with the education sector?
Personally, I feel that the key building block for any economy is the education sector. In a growing economy, where the expectations is to maintain high growth rates, education always plays a key role. If we divide the education sector into primary and higher education, what I feel is primary education, it ensures minimum GDP levels, it ensures minimum growth rate. But when it comes to the higher education, to sustain high growth rate, higher education is a key element. And if India were to maintain the high growth rates in its GDP, higher education is going to play a critical role. That's where I feel that my involvement, personally, I felt that my involvement in the higher education would be just one of the small things where we could contribute to the growth of Indian economy.
Okay, being the vice chairman of MIT Group of Institution, what is your philosophy of leadership and how would you describe your leadership style?
Any organization for that matter, the leadership is supposed to be visionary. It has to give a vision of the organization, how the organization will look like 4 years, 5 years down the line. In the long run, how it would grow. That vision then gets broken down into medium term and into short term business objectives and vision. At the same time, the leadership also has to be sensitive to the capabilities of their organization. The leadership has to act as a bridge between the vision and the capabilities of the organization. So I feel that leadership has a very critical role to play in whatever area, whether it is a family, whether it is an organization, whether it is government. So a leader is a critical role, plays a critical role when anything like that has to be developed. On my personal front, I feel that I'm slightly aggressive. I tend to create pressure on my teams for delivery purposes. I tend to set higher bars. Maybe some of my team members are not in line, are not in agreement with the high pressure bar, with the high bar that I create. Maybe it creates pressure on them. But that's the way it is. If the organization has to grow, if the organization has to grow exponentially, then I think your bars, your objectives, business objectives should be very clear.
Okay, so with new education policy as a welcoming move in the Indian education system, how would you see the future of education and institution in India?
I welcome this national education policy because what I feel is that Indian economy, if it has to grow, the major contribution now has to come from the service sector. The primary sector, that is the agriculture sector, the manufacturing sector, the secondary sector, have already delivered their best. So the next level of growth has to happen from the services sector, and education sector has to become one of the major pillar of this services sector. We had ancient universities in the past like Takshila, Nalanda, Vikramashila, which were world-class institutions. But somewhere in the past few centuries, we have not created such kind of world-class educational institutions. We are lacking behind. So somewhere we have a lot of catching up to do, whether it is in terms of infrastructure, whether it is in terms of faculty capabilities or systems, etc. And I feel that NEP envisages development of such world-class educational institutions. And as an educator, it is our duty. We have to fall in line. We have to develop these world-class institutions, whatever we are doing. But in limited resources and in whatever short time we don't have centuries to wait for develop a world-class institution.
Okay. So how does the curriculum of MIT group of institutions ensure the best practice of industry?
In our case, the syllabus as such has been designed by the university, the parent university, but the curriculum that we have designed for ourselves goes far beyond the syllabus that has been prescribed. What we do is typically we incorporate a lot of feedback, a lot of requirements that we get from the industry. We incorporate those requirements and we develop our curriculum to ensure that it is meeting a lot of these requirements. We also take up best practices, not only from India, but across the world in terms of the curriculum, in terms of the pedagogy, and we try to incorporate that. There's a major phenomena which is going on is the interdisciplinary. No longer you need to work in your silos, but there has to be an interdisciplinary approach. So we are trying to ensure that the interdisciplinary approach is followed in terms of curriculum delivery to the students. We also feel that coding has become very essential, and so we are ensuring that all streams, irrespective of the branches, whether it is mechanical, civil, any other engineering stream, even the biotech, we are ensuring that to all the students. Ultimately, a few years down the line, every engineer should know coding. We also have taken the COVID thing into account, and we are ensuring that the curriculum incorporates both the online and the offline delivery mode into the pedagogic aspect.
Okay. Any insight into how your institute could be more welcoming to students of different races or economic backgrounds?
If AKTU has the induction process for the students through AKTU incorporates multiple groups in which students from different places are identified and they are sent to our institutions for higher education. University maintains certain things, but at our level, we also ensure that we don't do any discrimination which is based on religion, caste, creed, or sex. We have the mix of every scope of students coming from every scope. At the economic level, we look at merits and ensure that any student, even whatever poor background they are coming from, we ensure that any student who has got a merit, who wants to study, who aspires to become, who aspires to acquire higher education, does not miss any opportunity for higher education. At our level, what we do is we typically offer management scholarships to underprivileged or students coming from poor economic environment. We also offer different kinds in the current COVID situation. We are also offering multiple payment plans. We are doing a lot of flexible payment plans to ensure that any student who is facing certain economic situations currently doesn't leave from the education systems. At the post-graduation level, what we have done is we have also introduced research assistantship, teaching assistantship to ensure that the undergraduate students after their graduation, if they are looking for post-graduation, then they go ahead with their post-graduation and they are not dependent on any other source of income to ensure that they continue with their post graduation.
Okay. What do you think your roles of responsibility to the institute and the students are?
I can see as a part of the management, I personally feel that students who are coming from diverse backgrounds who have very limited exposure to the current trends. We get those kind of students all the time. They are coming from diverse backgrounds. They are coming from rural, suburban areas, and they have very limited exposure to whatever trends are happening. They also have very limited perception of about how the future is going. So we feel that as a part of the education sector, it is a duty to ensure that they get the right perspective. They develop independent thinking based on certain facts, based on certain information. They develop communication skills. They also develop logical, analytical, mathematical, and coding capabilities. At the time when they graduate from the institution, we feel that we should be a party to their becoming a caring, environment-friendly, life citizens who is live to the latest whatever is socio-economic or cultural thing, whatever is happening at the country level. They should be live to what.
Okay. What do you think the institution top priority over the next 10 years of MIET group?
See, our priority is right now because as per the national education policy also, we cannot restrict ourselves to academics. We also have to integrate a lot of R&D into our institution. So when we are talking about R&D, then we have to build up capabilities. The capabilities could be in terms of infrastructure, it could be in terms of development of the faculty, or reorientation or the orientation of the faculty towards taking up R&D assignments, building up patents, building up writing more technical papers. And ultimately, all these things will go into a brand building. So as the national education policy envisages that the academic institutions should move towards becoming world-class institutions, we also aspire to be there. So to have that, to build that world-class environment, we need to develop our infrastructure. We need to orient our faculty. We need to bring in the best practices across the world to ensure that we are in line with becoming a world-class institution.
Okay. What are some of the biggest challenges you see both the higher education in general and for MIT group especially?
See, when we look at national education policy, they are looking at bigger institutions, independent institutions which are holistic in nature. They should be integrating multiple disciplines and they should be imparting world-class education, higher education. But what we are seeing right now is too many higher educational institutions, they have come up. And most of these institutions, they don't have the proper ethos or the culture to import quality level higher education. They are working towards short-term goals. They have very short-term business objectives. And in that process, what happens is they go to any levels to acquire, build up their capabilities, to acquire students. What happens is in this process, what happens is a good education, a quality educational institution misses on opportunities in terms of acquiring good aspirational students who really are looking for good quality education. So we are missing on some of the good quality education stuff.
Okay, being the VC of MIT Group, what is your programs and plan for marketing and administration of your college?
What we do is, as a part of the management, we keep a gap between day-to-day operations and strategy. We don't get ourselves involved into day-to-day operations of the institution. It is left to the professionals who are trained, who are qualified to carry out these activities. But as a part of the administration, what I feel is that it is our duty to identify critical roles and fix up these responsibilities with you. And we have to ensure that the right person takes up these roles in line with their capabilities and ensure that they deliver the expectations out of those roles.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Educational institutions, if you ask me, traditionally, and no exception to that, has been they are typically introvert in nature. They are more focused towards internal oriented and they are less marketing driven. So we may be doing a lot of things, but we don't share it on good platforms. We don't communicate it with the external agencies, external stakeholders. It could be, say, our alumni. It could be the prospective students, their parents, or it could be schools, or it could be the society at large. We don't interact. Educational institutions in India typically they don't interact with the society at large, which is where they are not able to communicate. They are not able to appreciate that. So we are trying to come out of that thing. We are trying to ensure that we are vibrant to the needs of the society. We have already developed an innovation and incubation center, which is establishing contacts with the schools, local colleges, other colleges, which is established with the villages, which is going so that we get the problem statements from them. We work closely with them, and we deliver our faculty and students both can deliver value. At the same time, what happens is the student is also becoming a good citizen in terms of they are becoming vibrant and live citizens. So we are trying to build up that capability, and we are trying to build up that internal systems, which is very sensitive to the market demands and the expectations. And we are trying to align with the market demands and expectations.
Okay. Any suggestion you would like to give current youth for aspiring student?
See, the way I think is, I think the current youth, the youth and the aspiring students, they should know that the future is for them. Future is for you and by you. Future will be whatever this COVID situation is happening. These kind of situations will come and they will go. They will pass. But it is your duty to ensure that you acquire in these kind of desperate scenes also, you acquire adequate skill sets, you keep on learning and you keep on adapting to the environment. Things will come and go, but you have to be bold enough to ensure that you survive all such kind of situations and be strong. And when you come out of these situations, you should be strong, bold enough.
Okay. So as I'm having a one question from my part, being a vice chairman or being a parent, so do you think we should send our children to nearly colleges or some other state colleges? What do you think? As a parent or a vice chairman?
See, as a parent, yes, you are very sensitive because in our nuclear families, typically you become very sensitive to your child. But ultimately, going from when a student is studying in higher education, then actually they have to leave home at any point of time because immediately after higher education, it is the profession, and you don't know where the profession will take them. So at some point of time, you have to stop worrying about your child because now they are beyond. They are major. I think they have acquired sufficient capabilities, sufficient thought process where they can take care of themselves. So yes, you can be worried, but your worries cannot become a roadblock in their careers. So if they have to acquire good education, if they have to acquire skill sets, specific skill sets, they need to move out. And as a parent, whatever, even if I am worried, but ultimately it becomes at certain stages, you have to let things go. If the student gets a good admission in a good educational institution, wherever in the world, you have to allow the students to move.
So, what precautions should college should take before entering the student in college for studying? Because just now we are doing any that digitally classes from work from home. So when from 1 October the college will start, as we are listening from the government. So, what precautions you will be taking for MIT group?
See, we are waiting for the government guidelines and the district administration guidelines. We typically we have always abide by whatever guidelines are issued to us, and we would build further on the whatever the guidelines are given.
Hmm.
So basic guidelines that we expect, yes, whenever the colleges start, before that, what we are doing is we are ensuring that the entire sanitization of the institute will happen. We whatever guidelines are given, we'll make it doubly sure that students come and they are taken care of and they get sufficient safety measures are taken to ensure their safety. But at the same time, now we have to be in tune with whatever is happening. Even if there are certain issues, one is the precaution part and another is the reaction part. So even if certain issues happen, we have to ensure that our systems or procedures are there in place to handle such kind of situations if the situation arises.
Okay. So, last, sir, tell me about yourself. Yani, we have missed that word in earlier.
Okay, I'm a graduate engineer from IIT PHU and postgraduate diploma in management from IIM Ahmedabad. I've diverse experience. I've worked in PSUs. I've worked in private sector. I've worked in different industry sectors, whether it is consultancy, whether it is the IT sector,
Mhm.
power development sector, energy sector, manufacturing sectors. So I have diverse experience in different fields. I have also been exposed to multiple geographies. I've worked in Bombay. I've worked in Calcutta. I've worked in Dubai also. I worked in a lot of places. Currently, my focus is more towards developing the education. I feel that now, since I have acquired a bit of every culture, I want to give it back to the society. So I think, as I said earlier, higher education is one area which I feel I can contribute to building the youth of future.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us your time.